This would be a kind of test, a first time that my work actually entering a Chinese territory. We shall see the reaction from the Chinese government.
And Badiucao joins me now in the studio. Welcome, Badiucao.
Thank you very much.
We just saw you in that clip there. You were wearing a mask, but yet here you are. Everybody can clearly identify you. Why the difference?
Well, I've been trying to hide my identity since the very beginning of my art creation. But in the end of last year, I find out my identity has been compromised. And actually, my family in China got threatened by the Chinese government via the police in Shanghai. And after that, I've made this decision that I think hiding is no longer an option for me. And actually, the best way for me is confront them face to face.
And this was before an exhibition that was supposed to open in Hong Kong?
Yes. This supposed to be my first solo international exhibition. And 3 days before the opening, my family in China got contacted by the authority there, and they delivered this threat to say, if I don't cancel the show, then me and my family will be in danger.
Now, a lot of the images that you have made concern the situation in Hong Kong, as we can see behind me. And a lot of the work concerns the chief executive, Carrie Lam. And it almost appears from your images that it is all her fault. Is it?
Well, for any problem in any society, the one need to be responsible is the leader. And Carrie Lam is the leader of Hong Kong. She should be the one who is responsible for all the problems. And particularly because her act is not good enough to solve the problem, which brings to Hong Kong into this very critical situation now.
But what are the options that Carrie Lam has, and what should she be doing?
Well, it's very clear Hong Kongers have their 5 demands. And I don't think Carrie Lam has really taken those 5 demands seriously. Well, she never really arranged a proper talk between her and the protests. There are some almost like a staged talk being organized, but people do not see her sincere within any of those movements.
You're talking about people, and the people in question here are primarily the protesters. And your work has looked at protesters as well. If you can just show the previous picture once more, in which you're looking at the protests in Hong Kong. A lot of these protests have turned violent over the past many months. A picture such as this, in which you take what Bruce Lee had said about being water. Don't pictures such as these encourage violence?
Well, I have a very different opinion on that. Firstly, I would challenge the very notion saying the protests are getting violent. We have to trace the root of who started this violence. It is actually the police brutality. When those frontline protesters seeing their friends got beaten up, facing life danger threatening, what are they going to do? It is just instinct to helping and save their friends.
But is it only instinct? I mean, you also had a situation in which a pro-China protester was doused in a flammable liquid and set on fire. There was nothing provoking that.
Well, actually, there's a counter-argument within it. A lot of people are saying, why does that person didn't really get hurt severe with this horrible burn, which is totally anti our common sense. And actually, there are evidence showing this could be a staged performance, maybe organized by the Beijing propaganda.
Do you really believe that it is a staged performance? Somebody being set on fire?
The problem is now in Hong Kong, actually, the freedom of speech has been heavily threatened. And without this good environment, we can really never tell this is true and that is false. Yes, we saw something from a video, but is that video staged or not? There's no way we can tell.
Right. Well, we'll have to leave it there for the time being. But thank you so much, Badiucao, for coming into the studio and sharing your views with us.
Pleasure.